Hey, I'm Justin Mefford from Solomons Island, Maryland. I'm 22 years old. Went to Patuxent High School, didn't go to college. Started out in a church-based home, going to church on Sundays, most Sundays, almost every Sunday. Felt like it never ended. Um, and Also was part of Full Gospel growing up since I was about 6 years old. Um, I don't really remember the exact age I got saved, but I remember going to church with my mom and dad and just getting down on my knees and crying and just trying to leave it all there at the altar. And Later on, as I got older, I actually had a full gospel dinner meeting in Maryland. Bobby Bassler was there and was praying over me, and I got baptized in the Holy Spirit and started speaking in tongues. And as I got older, just continued to play sports, go to school, good student, made good grades, great athlete. Everything was couldn't be better, but I just had an issue with, I guess, being rebellious and following the rules and wanting to make my own rules and stuff. So right before pretty much high school ended, I moved out and got around the wrong crowd and living with the wrong people and smoking weed and getting high and everything, drinking and just trying to figure out how to cope with life, I guess. And Well, basically from there, it didn't take but about 9 months out of high school, I did graduate. But 9 months after high school, I was driving and actually overdosed on cocaine and about had a heart attack. Called 911. The police came, went to the hospital, and the next day when I got released, walked back home and actually met with my grandpa Jim Pretty, and he mentioned Teen Challenge, and I was willing to go, so he took me there a couple days later. So I get up to Teen Challenge, and it's a year-long program. I'm doing good, everything's going well. It's a great Christian-based rehab program. This one was located in Capitol Heights, but they have them all over the world. And about 3 months into it, I was like, I can't do this anymore, and I actually walked about 65 miles home to my mom and dad, and they were like, you got to go back. So they took me back up there, and my punishment up there was to carry these cinder blocks, about 40 pounds of cinder blocks for 30 days. And then I had to write just about the whole New Testament of the Bible out. So I still got that. And From there, about my 7th month, it actually it lost structure. The leaders started leaving us and doing their own things, and it just didn't have any structure. And I felt that it was my time to go and basically planned my great escape out of this place because I didn't have anywhere to go. But as negative as the ending sounds about being there, it was really, I think, the beginning of my relationship with Christ, because that 7 months I was there, it's no phone, no mom and dad, no friends, family, nobody you've ever known. It's your 10 brothers. It's supposed to be a brotherhood, and you just take all that time on building a relationship with God. The foundation to that relationship, I believe, with me started there. Just spending all that time in the Word, writing, reading, and listening to all these different pastors and teachers come in and just talk about God. It was unbelievable 7 months of just learning and loving on God, or loving who God is. So, as I was saying, the 7th month, I decided to leave. Figured out how to get back to my hometown in Solomons Island, Maryland. I got back down here. Got to living with an old boss of mine, and within a week, I had a job. 30 days, I had a car. I took over payments on, and I had a place to stay because of him. So as I'm staying there and stuff, the next 3 months go by, and I'm actually at work, and I got hit by a car walking across the street on the job, and ended up going home because I went to the hospital, then I ended up getting home and tore all the ligaments pretty much in my lower back. But the crazy thing is, while I'm at home, I'm on Facebook one day, supposed to be resting, and I have a warrant for my arrest from when I overdosed on cocaine. I'd missed the court dates being at Teen Challenge, and I called my lawyer because I didn't know if I was supposed to go turn myself into jail. I didn't know what to do. I was just so shocked seeing it all online and everything. So I called him. He takes care of everything. I don't have to go to jail. I actually ended up losing that job I first got because I got hit by the car. They decided to fire me or let me go. So there was no work left in the season. So my lawyer also, he blessed me, and he knew a guy that would hire me. So I was able to get a new job there. And from there, I went into, I had to go to trial a couple of months later for what I did. So I pled guilty to a felony count of intent to distribute CDS, cocaine, and a possession charge of cocaine. And I actually, I was blessed and actually didn't get the felony charge. I got it dropped, and I got the possession charge. But I was supposed to do, I think like it was like 4 years of backup time, but I only did like 8 days for, and I got sentenced to 18 months. So it was a good deal to get 8 days. And then they court ordered me to a program. I was the first person in my town to ever finish the program early. And I was sentenced to 3 years probation, and I was actually able to get out of that in 9 months by just doing everything exactly how you're supposed to do it. And from there, moved out of that place that I was living at. Started living with a new friend that I actually played football with, a good friend, someone I should have in my life. It's also part of Full Gospel. Became a member a couple months ago. His name's Michael. But I started living with him, and this is where I get into the car business. And at first I don't know anything about the car business, and I'm literally selling cars, and other salespeople are getting paid on the cars I'm selling because I don't know anything. So that's how rough that business is. But anyways, I start figuring out, getting an idea of what's going on, and it's a very competitive thing. It's like playing football, and I played football. I wrestled the cream of the crop of competition. I was part of it. So this, it's like, you go to work and you're facing 10 people trying to sell the most cars. And I mean, I just love the competition, I don't know, the drive that went with it, just trying to be the best. And that's what I became, was the best. And like, I give a lot of credit here to God, because there'd be 2 weeks that I didn't sell a single car, and I'd be on the lot just praying, asking God. I'd be like, listen, I was like, if I can't sell it, I was like, you sell the car. I was like, that's what you want, just you sell the car. And literally, like, someone that hadn't bought a car in 17 years came in and was like, as crazy as this sounds, he's like, I was praying, asking God to pick a car out because I ain't ever bought a car. So I said, you know what? I said, this morning I was outside praying for God to sell a car for me. And I said, here you are. And I felt like I was able to, bless this family and help them out, because they were seeking God's divine wisdom in picking a car, and I was trying to figure out what exactly he wanted me to do, if he wanted to do it, or if I wasn't doing something right. But he blessed me from there, and then it was just it's just a whirlwind of blessings. But I guess like right now though, like I've actually lost my job in the car business and stuff. It's a very cutthroat business. Not because of performance, but just because I don't know how to describe it, but I kind of just, I'm trying to accept it and take a breath and breathe and, try to see if God's closing a door or what door he has open for me right now. And, since then, I'll be honest, not the most active member in going to a single church. I go to a bunch of random churches if people are going to church. If you call me and we're going to church, we go to church. But I find the weirdest times, when I'm talking about people about Jesus and trying to, I don't really say I save a lot of people, but I tell you, I plant a lot of seeds for sure. I feel like that's my part, not quite getting them all the way there, but I plant that initial seed and just share my testimony or tell them what I've been through, and just, I don't want to see people make the same mistakes I made, but I don't regret anything I've ever done. Yeah, if I could go back and make my life perfect, I would, but it's not supposed to be perfect. But with the decisions I made and where I'm at, God, I learned that God's always there for me. He's always got my back. And just another side testimony, you never know. He's always listening. I wouldn't say you never know when he's listening. He is always listening, because I nonchalantly prayed for someone to fill my gas tank up one day. And I went to the first gas station, no one filled it up. I went to the second gas station. I said, God, let someone fill my gas up. Nobody filled my gas up. I went to the third gas station. I said, God, so all the gas stations, anybody going to fill the gas tank up? Nobody filled the gas tank up. So I went on my day. This when I was about 16. I was cutting grass for people and stuff, helping them out. And I cut all my grasses for the day. I made probably 85, 90 bucks. Actually, no, I made more than that. I made about 160 bucks because back then gas was like $3.50 a gallon. It was expensive. And my dad called me and he was like, we're playing basketball down here at the park. Would you like to come meet me and your brother and play for a little while? And I just finished. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, yeah, let me go spend time with my brother and my dad. And I get down there, we play basketball, and he's like, where are you going? I was like, I'll take Jonathan to get some ice cream, and I got to get gas. Well, he follows me up to the gas station, and he fills my tank up all the way up. He fills the 5-gallon bucket up all the way up. And like, my dad's never filled my gas tank up in my life except for that day. But that, like, I started crying because, like, sarcastically, I was asking God to fill my tank up, and he was listening to me the whole time, but his time's not my time. He knew when I needed gas. So that's my testimony, and thank you.